Anybody?
Anybody?
A louder.
A little louder, perhaps.
Louder? I'm gonna
Yes.
unplug this. Is this better?
Actually, yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
We are live and streaming. Go ahead.
Start. Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve McHarris, City Manager for the City of Milpitas. I want to thank you for joining us on our 4th Manufacturing Day. This is really a special and unique event for the City of Milpitas for our Manufacturing Day. This illustrates what manufacturing is all about right here in the 21st century. I'd like to acknowledge and thank our City Council. I believe with us this morning we have Mayor Rich Tran, Vice Mayor Bob Nunez, and Councilmember Karina Dominguez. Special thanks to our Economic Development and Trade Commission for co-hosting this event, and to our partners, Milpitas Chamber of Commerce, Cheryl Jordan and the entire Milpitas Unified School District, Evergreen Valley College, Bay Area Urban Manufacturing, Flex, and on and on. I've mentioned public officials and participating private corporations present, but I want to say we're really here for the public and our students. We designed this program to introduce new career opportunities to our local youth and showcase all the cool innovation happening here in our hometown. Of course, we have to present this virtually with the unfortunate COVID-19 pandemic to keep everyone safe. And before we kick off our panel discussion, I'd like to share a few words about our local manufacturing industry. Manufacturing is the largest industry sector in our city, accounting for 26% of all jobs. By comparison, manufacturing jobs make up 15% of jobs in Santa Clara County. Most manufacturing jobs in Milpitas are in advanced and high-tech manufacturing, with only a small share of traditional manufacturing. In our own backyard, we're extremely fortunate to have over 160 local companies dedicated to innovative design, engineering, and breakthrough manufacturing technology. Think about it: design, product, and release to our communities. Creativity and design all wrapped up in one package. More than 1 in 5 of our workers are employed in the manufacturing sector, which is twice the Bay Area average. I want to mention that our manufacturers tell me we are a good fit. We have highly educated and highly skilled residents here in Milpitas and the surrounding area. Manufacturing employers offer a wide variety of job opportunities with a mix of high skill, high wage workers in computer, mathematical, engineering occupations, as well as middle wage, middle skill workers in manufacturing occupations. Our employers offer entry-level opportunities for people seeking careers. For city operations, we work hard to support our local manufacturing industry. We recently adopted a brand new economic development strategy. The strategy actively encourages and supports advanced manufacturing and technology and strengthens our workforce development efforts. Why did we do this? We want the best for Milpitas in terms of good quality jobs and associated revenue through property tax and sales tax. This way, the city can invest those revenues back into our Milpitas community each day with our high quality municipal services that residents demand and deserve. With all this said, I'm going to turn this program over to Milpitas Unified School District School Board of Trustee Vice President and Economic Development and Trade Commissioner, Chris Norwood.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for providing all that background information. It's very, very helpful. Good morning, staff. Good morning, business leaders. Good morning, students of Milpitas Unified School District. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Manufacturing Day, hosted by the Milpitas Economic Development and Trade Commission and the City of Milpitas. Our goal for today is to inform, inspire, and increase your awareness about advanced manufacturing in Milpitas. As City Manager Steve McHarris has shared with you, the City of Milpitas is home to the advanced manufacturing industry. Today, we will not only hear about products that innovate and create, but how they're also an important part of our community. This year's discussion is a direct reflection of the current pandemic in many ways. Today is an investment of time by all of us. So thank you to the panelists. We hope that some of you get in return an investment for the students a discovery of a career opportunity that you may have never otherwise considered. And to ensure that this is an active participation event, we are going to have raffle prizes for local places in Milpitas: Black Cat Comics, Golfland, and Ta Restaurant. If an audience member would like to opt in, please use the chat box to enter your name and something about you, and stick around until the end of the event, and we'll be doing a raffle. And if you hear your name is picked, you will be selected for that raffle. A couple of housekeeping items in terms of the norms. If you would like to submit a question or a comment, please use the raise your hand feature that's located underneath the participants. Nicole, if you could wave your hand. Nicole will call on you for you to share no longer than 1 minute. It will be audio only, so no video will be displayed. To make sure that the evening or the morning shows flows securely or smoothly, please save your questions and comments and Q&A to the Q&A session with the panelists. Keep your conversation respectful, positive, and on topic. Once again, my name is Chris Norwood. I'm a longtime resident. I am currently the Vice President of the Board of Trustees and a member of the Economic Development and Trade Commission. That was a lot. We have some amazing folks with us today, and their goal, just as with everyone else, is to invest in you. We have 3 topics on today's conversation for the brief agenda: COVID-19, workforce development, and reshoring. Panelists, are you ready?
Ready?
Ready,
Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. Let's begin. Mr. Glass.
Gonna go ahead and get started with the questions.
Absolutely. At this point, we're going to do a brief introduction, what you manufacture, your role in the company, and how long it's been in Milpitas.
Outstanding. So my name is Billy Glass. I'm the lead sales engineer here at Ananon, and we've been in Milpitas manufacturing for the last 40 plus years, and really kind of got it started in the semiconductor industry with printed circuit boards. And since then, we've really transitioned to medical devices, full turnkey medical devices, cable assemblies, connectors. So it's a really exciting field to be into, and I'm happy to attend today's panel.
Thank you. I believe at this time there is a video.
Shortening lead times. Our in-house machining department allows us to quickly and inexpensively fabricate all of our custom mold and fixture tooling. 4-axis automated scoring machines, a V-groove on both sides of an insulator, allowing for production assembly of pins and components in an array format. This technique allows us to maximize throughput and greatly reduces assembly cost. Ananon's automatic pin insertion department allows us to install over 5 million connector contacts per shift, making us one of North America's largest connector manufacturers. After the connectors have been fully assembled, we use automatic depaneling machines to separate the connectors, readying them for wire termination. We have the capability to package our connectors into tape and reel, allowing our parts to be robotically placed, which greatly reduces handling through our customers' process. Ananon employs Lean, Sigma, and 5S methodologies throughout each of our manufacturing processes. Automated robotic adhesive placement provides reliable bonding of assemblies. Precision wire stripping allows for quick connector assembly using our rapid wire technology to precise specifications. Computerized robotic dispensing machines gives Ananon the flexibility to place solder paste and epoxy for component placement. These machines are capable of placing over 100,000 solder preforms every hour with high accuracy. Some of our connectors utilize intelligent components that are assembled using fully robotic pick-and-place equipment that has the capability to place 100,000 components per shift with video monitoring to ensure accurate placement. We utilize programmable multi-chamber reflow.
Well, thank you for sharing that video. It's kind of a sample of what we do here at Ananon on a daily basis.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. At this time, Dr. Dickerson from Evergreen Valley College.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, City of Milpitas, for inviting me to be a panelist today. My name is Manipuan Dickerson. I am the Dean for Business and Workforce at Evergreen Valley College. We have been in Milpitas for a while now. We have an extension site at Milpitas to provide the education component. So our goal here at Evergreen Valley College for the San Jose Evergreen Community College District is to provide the pipeline to the advanced manufacturing industry. So we've been in Milpitas at the extension site since 2017. So we have a great partnership with the city of Milpitas and the Economic Development Center. So thank you for inviting me for the panel today.
You're very welcome. And Mr. McNeil.
Good morning. I'm Casey McNeil. I'm with Flex. Flex is a large global company. We have about 170,000 employees across the world. That's in 100 different sites in 30 different countries. So we're very excited to be in Milpitas. In fact, we were founded in Milpitas, in the Silicon Valley area over 50 years ago as a very small company, and we've grown to a global giant. Now, a lot of people haven't heard of Flex, but a lot of the things that you have currently in front of you or in your house, in your car, were made by Flex. We're called a contract manufacturer because companies come to us and they ask us to manufacture their products, cell phones, your computers, remotes, anything that you may have electronically or otherwise are made by companies such as contract manufacturers. And so we do a lot of things that are in your house that don't have Flex names on it because we have our customers' product names on it. So we're known as a sketch to scale company, which means that companies come to us, whether it's an idea, such as a startup company, or those well-established organizations. So we build a lot of great things. Here at Milpitas, which is our flagship site, we have 12 buildings. I'm the automation manager, so I get to work with cool robots around the plants. And so we see a lot of things that are new. And what will happen is a startup company will come to us and they'll say, hey, I've just got this great invention idea, and we'll help produce that into a prototype and eventually a new product that will be eventually sold and to you guys. So it's a great place to work, especially here. Again, you probably haven't heard of us because we don't have our name on anything, but it's a large company, and I really enjoy it here. I'm going to show one video which talks about our sustainability, and I hope it gives a kind of impression of what we do at Flex.
We make things, smart things, connected things. We make things that make things. We're even making the future of making. And at every stage, in every process, we make sure these smart things and how we make them are always driven by who we make them for. Because for us, building a sustainable world is more than our system of operation. It's our pledge. That's why we're committed to the well-being of our employees and their families. To their continuing development. And to the principle that everyone, everywhere, deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. That's why we're committed to helping build stronger, more vital communities. To maintaining high ethical standards, as well as partnering with those who share our values. To finding sustainable solutions that reduce emissions, pollutants, and environmental impact. That's why we're committed to a greener planet and a more efficient use of its resources. That's why we're committed to all the things that foster a healthier, fairer, and more sustainable future. That's why we're committed to live smarter. Flex.
Thank you. So that's a little sample of what we do here at Flex, and wish all the students could be here, understand the times, and hopefully next year all this will be cleared up and we get to see you and you can see and feel the real things.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. And as a member of the Board of Trustees from Milpitas Unified School District, everybody was listening, and they said, and we heard you say that when things open up, we'll get a chance to visit, and we were going to make sure that our students receive that opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Glass and Dr. Dickerson, for introducing yourself. And to the students in the audience, all of this is happening in your backyard. Milpitas is a very special place. A lot of the world knows it already, and this is in your backyard, the education, the career opportunities, and the experiences. So we're hopeful that you will listen to this Q&A session intently and learn as much as you can as you consider where you want to go and how you want to follow your dreams. With that said, the first topic for today's discussion is COVID-19. COVID-19 has affected each one of our employers, our businesses in the community in one way or another. In some ways, it's highlighted the resiliency of the manufacturing sector. In other ways, it's highlighted the challenges. Let's begin the discussion by touching on how the pandemic has affected each one of these businesses and education. Let's start with Mr. Glass. How has On and On had to pivot or deal with the pandemic?
Well, initially when all the news about the pandemic and how far-reaching it was hit, there was actually concern internally that we needed to shut down completely, which kind of set a fear factor in that of the unknown. If we did shut down, how long would we need to shut down for to ensure the safety of our employees? So we have an incredible executive management team here, and they really just put safety first. So a lot of that was really consisting of finding out the real factual information on how we could keep our employees safe so we wouldn't need to shut down. A lot of that was really creating a second shift that we incentivize so that people would be willing to spread out and maybe work on a different time of day so that we could really ensure safety. Because as a lot of the students at home do, we have little ones in our families, we have, older, let's say grandparents and other people sometimes living with us. So it's not just about our safety here at work, but it's about their safety as well. So the biggest thing we had to do to pivot was spread everything out, ensure that we had social distancing in place for everyone here, and really ensuring that all the different safety precautions, sanitizing all of our areas that we work in and keeping everything clean was of the utmost importance. That was one of the biggest things.
Thank you for that. And one other question for you. Could you talk a little bit about, there's a term out there that students may not be familiar with called supply chains. Could you talk a little bit about that and how you were able to overcome that challenge as well?
Yeah, for the students out there, so supply chain, we don't just get material here in the US. So a lot of the things that we put into our assemblies and our cable assemblies and medical devices comes from overseas suppliers. China being one specific area where we get a lot of our raw material to make our devices from. And when things were shutting down in China, a lot of our supply chain was halted. So the materials that we needed to make medical devices, because we are an essential medical device company, we weren't getting them on time. So even though we had an increase in demand, we couldn't necessarily meet those target dates early on. So what we did is we actually started getting some of our materials from the US, different supply chain options, having a dual source strategy and buying materials and other products directly from US suppliers. So that was another area where we had to pivot relatively quickly and really do a risk assessment to make sure that we could provide our customers with what they need.
Thank you very much. As we know, COVID-19 has definitely had an impact on the healthcare industry in a number of different ways. I'd like to turn to Mr. McNeil at this point. Can you share a little bit about your experiences with COVID-19, and did anything, in these times of uncertainty, did anything positive come out of this for your organization?
Yes. In fact, if the IT team can pull up a video, I sent over a video for something we did recently because of COVID-19. I can talk over that. So some of the things that Flex has done is create different products. We have a lot of now demand to create different types of products especially because of COVID-19. And one of those is these touch screens that you see. People don't want touch screens. And so we've now worked with help develop some of the technology where people do not actually have to touch the screen. I think there's a section here where you can see them getting close to the screen. Here, they're not actually touching it. So this type of technology has caused a lot of interest with our customers. They've come to us. We've even made masks. We're making masks here in Milpitas. So we're developing a lot of technology now that we were not really emphasizing before because of COVID. And I think that's going to help not only with our current pandemic, but also keep us safe in the future as well. So yes, good things have come about because of this. I mean, it's not a good situation, but there are some good things that have come out of it, including new products and new procedures. So absolutely, it's a good way to really rethink things and how we interface with other people and other machines, and look and see how we can improve it. So yes.
Mr. McNeil, can you also speak a little bit about, because we've seen the technology, can you talk a little bit about employee morale and how have you been able to support your employees during this time as well?
I agree with Billy. What happened with Billy is the same thing that happened with our site. Is that when we first got the news in California, said, hey, we're going to shut down, we're wondering, okay, what are we going to do? One of the great things about being in Milpitas is working with the city. We were able to facilitate getting our essential operations up because we do support a lot of medical companies as well. So as far as the employees, we also have to ensure that they're safe, obviously. I mean, because we're bringing in employees back to work in medical industry. So we implemented a lot of new procedures to ensure everyone's safety. It is a bit scary times, but ensuring and having all of that information available to them, being very transparent, has opened it up. After a while, it did take a little bit, but after a while, the employees really embraced it. They were glad to come to work. They were glad to be part of a manufacturer that supported the medical industry, and knowing that we were very important. And some of our customers, they couldn't come up and thank us, but they had these caravans that came through our school. That one of our key customers, Palo Alto Networks, they had a caravan of their employees that came by in cars, and they were just surrounded, and they all said thank you to our team. And so it was very, very good feeling to know how important what we do with manufacturing is. And so our teams are they understand the circumstance, and they are very excited to be part of the solution.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. You reiterated the fact that in uncertain times, that's where leaders rise to the occasion to make a difference in a community and the world. I'd like to turn our attention now to our academic partner, Dr. Dickerson from Evergreen Valley College. Dr. Dickerson, in your role as the Business and Workforce Development Division Dean, what groups have been hardest hit by COVID?
Thank you for the question. Actually, I've in our college, in the San Jose Evergreen Community College District, it is our students that are the hardest hit right now during COVID due to the impact of instruction online and trying to get their degrees online. So a large of it is our students who are really being impacted by COVID-19. For example, we have there's been impact on food security, so that we have students also financial security and technology securities. So those our students are the most impacted right now. So what we have done during the COVID-19 is that everything was accelerated to enhance education online. So a lot of our faculties were trained to teach online. The challenge was for our students who are in the hands-on experiential classes, like our automotive, our nursing, our biology, the ones with lab, and our advanced manufacturing that have labs. So how do we continue that skill set, technical training on a virtual environment and a technology environment? So we have, our faculties have become creative in using simulation labs of software, but also our faculties are on campus. We have limited access to campus during COVID-19, only for faculties that want to do live stream of their labs. So faculties are doing live streams in labs. We also have students pick up their biology kit. The only course that is allowed on campus per this California's allowability during COVID is our nursing profession. So nursing has been on campus, and that was a challenge to get our nurses on campus and then doing their clinicals at the hospital as well. So the impact really has been on the education of our students, trying to get their skill sets and comparability during the COVID-19, but we are making the best of what we've had during this accelerated time of education.
Thank you. And at the Milpitas Unified School District, we've seen that the same as very well. The most hardest impacted folks are our students. So they've been transitioned from an on-campus experience, getting a chance to see their friends on a daily basis, a number of different activities, and now they are in a 100%, for the most part, distance or virtual learning environment. And I can tell you that they are learning how to be creative as well as our instructors in a number of different ways. So I do appreciate you sharing that at the higher level of education, you're experiencing some of the same challenges, and we continue to work together to resolve these items. I appreciate all the panelists and the feedback that you provided regarding COVID-19, your different industries, your experiences, and the possibilities of how we move forward. The next topic on our discussion is workforce development. Collectively, over 40 million Americans filed for unemployment since COVID-19 began. In Milpitas, the unemployment rate went from just a little bit under 3% to over 12% in a matter of weeks. And part of the solution of bounce back from this economic crisis is to focus on workforce development. My first question is for you, Dr. Dickerson. How has the last 7 months shaped your day-to-day work and your long-term vision as we come out of the depths of the pandemic?
Yes.
I'll repeat that one more time.
Yes.
I want to repeat that one more time so I can kind of hear it myself. How has the last 7 months shaped your day-to-day work and long-term vision as we come out of the depths of the pandemic?
Well, the last 7 months has accelerated everything like 10 times folds on how we do things. Everybody's impacted on how we do things. So everything, for example, technology usage has been accelerated. Whether you didn't like using online for education or online for food delivery or online for services, you have now been accelerated to use those services. So in the education department, where we're, in my division, we're here to develop the workforce, the pipeline for the workforce. As Flex and On talk about the acceleration of needing the supply chain demand of the products, we are producing those workers that Flex and Ion needed. So our impact has been that a lot of our students who are usually doing our hands-on, we have seen a decrease in enrollment, about 5%, but college-wide it's been double digits. But I believe that will come back after we slowly move out of the pandemic, because our students need to learn the upskills, and our industry partners like Flex and On need more employers to be skills ready. So as we come out, we will be making these partners are coming knocking to Evergreen Valley College and San Jose City College, our district. We are the arm, the educational arm that produces a skills workforce for these pathways to manufacturing companies. In that sense, the companies will be coming and say, please provide us these skills trainings. Here's the courses that we need them to do. And to the fact that we will provide the space. You may not, as an education institution, have the space to provide the lab, but Flex and Ion will provide a space for the lab component. And that's what we've done creatively for, I will show on my next present at the, when we talk about how are we building up the next stream. So as we come out of the depths of pandemic, I feel that the need for more advanced manufacturing, homegrown advanced manufacturing will increase. As Flex had mentioned and mentioned, their demand for the products have 10 times increase. So that will meet a demand for skilled workforce in the Milpitas area. So we look towards the future to continue that partnership. For example, we've been doing dual enrollment at Milpitas High School through our extension site, and we'll be doing that continuously too, to make sure that Milpitas has the workforce to meet the supply and demand for Flex and Anon.
Thank you, Dr. Dickerson. We had another one of the Milpitas City Council members join us, Councilmember Montano. Good morning and welcome. Could you wave for everyone? Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you for
Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. And Dr. Dickerson, we're going to stay with you a little bit on this. No pressure, but how do you see the workforce? And maybe you've answered this, but I might want you to state it in a different way. How do you see workforce development and the advanced manufacturing sector overlap?
That's great. Can you show my, IT, have my slide up, please? IT. Next slide, please. So IT and advanced manufacturing has intensely overlap. What we, in our world, what we call an infusion of skill sets, infusion of occupation. You've heard of infusion of food, infusion of Thai food, infusion of Asian food, infusion of Mexican food. This is an infusion of occupations where IT industry crosses over to advanced manufacturing, and that the new term that a lot of industries are using for our students is Internet of Things, where everything is interconnected. So in advanced manufacturing at Evergreen Valley College, we heard the demand of industry partners for the intersectionality of occupational skill sets, and that's why advanced manufacturing came. This is a next generation advanced manufacturing. It's no longer about just assembling this product to that product. It's the whole product of designing, the whole setup. This is a hand pump that you need for hand sanitizing. It's the whole design of that, from the pumps to the design label, the cost manufacturing, counting. So everything that has to do with manufacturing, Evergreen Valley College and the San Jose Evergreen Community College District provides those courses. But we heard from our advanced manufacturing that they need skill set. So we have created a certificate in advanced manufacturing technician that is fully approved by the state of California and our district, and will start in spring 2021. So if you do 4 courses, you will get a certificate in advanced manufacturing. This was created by our industry partners with Flex, Netflix, Cobham, Jabil, Tesla. They said there were 4 primary skill sets that we would need an industry partner. So we created that infusion of what they've asked for. Next slide, please. So in testing out the pilot of the course, we partner with one key industry, Cobham, and we will partner more with industry partners to create a skills workshop for free. And we got approval to create a skills workshop, and it will be an apprenticeship model that will start once you have created, once you complete the workshop, you will be certified to be hired with Cobham to start $19 an hour and be an apprenticeship model and get your certificate at the same time. We look for that model, that infusion model of industry and education. We'll be doing that with our other industries, Flex, and propose the same model. So as we move into the 21st generation, our students will be ready for that. So in that sense, we also built out this from our Milpitas partnership with Flex Factor. If you don't remember, we had dual enrollment courses with Milpitas High School, and all those students who build out with the Flex Factor program is aligned to this advanced manufacturing skill set. So that's how we've come to make sure that infusion of IT and advanced manufacturing has now created the next iteration and generation called Advanced Manufacturing Certificate. And I wanted to show you one last slide of this company, this slide shows that next slide, go back. Yeah, so this is all the courses, the last slide, last slide. These are the courses that have to do with advanced manufacturing, just not the courses for advancement. But if you want to do accounting, like I said, business, all are part of the product management of manufacturing. And there's a video that really explains what one of our companies does for manufacturing for Cobham. Can you show that video, please? So that video just sort of summarizes how technology has infused itself into manufacturing. So that's how we're doing it for advanced manufacturing.
Thank you, Dr. Dickerson. So just a quick recap for our audience and most importantly, our students in the audience. There's some amazing things that are being shared with you today. There are pathways to employment in your community. There's an education partner that's willing to offer courses. Now, there's one thing there, Dr. Dickerson, that I noticed on the job one is that it was 18 and over. I do know that we have some students that are younger than that in the audience. So how can they find their pathway, or how could they get involved in this process if they're not 18 years of age as of yet?
Right, great question. So we really emphasize you take advantage of our partnership with Milpitas in the dual enrollment courses. So when we do dual enrollment for our Flex Factor courses, and also we will continue doing a dual enrollment of our advanced manufacturing courses, now that we have it officially go live in spring 2021. Like I said, we have our extension site that we've always conducted our dual enrollment. So please take advantage of your dual enrollment course. A dual enrollment definition for those students who don't know is when you're a high school student, you can still sign up for a college course. And while you're going through high school, technically you could actually finish with a certificate. If you started at a freshman year or sophomore year, you can finish your high school degree with a college certificate. So if you, so we have always worked with Milpitas to provide that dual enrollment course. So take advantage of the dual enrollment math, dual enrollment English, dual enrollment business, all those components. And then we also just are finalizing our STEM core certificates. So if you're interested in STEM, all those components will be available to you as our Milpitas partnership with Evergreen Valley College and San Jose City College. So take advantage of those pathways.
Dr. Dickerson, thank you very much for adding that to the discussion. I'd like to turn to Mr. McNeil at this point. Mr. McNeil, and we're talking about workforce development. How do you see increased automation, emerging smart technology affect a company's workforce development strategy?
Well, actually, that's right at my alley since I work with automation at the site. One of the great things about what we have right now is that manufacturing is changing. And so a lot of people, if they think about manufacturing, they probably see some of the old videos of people doing the same thing over and over and over all the time. And yeah, for me, that would drive me up the wall if I had to do the same thing over and over. What's happening is that manufacturing is changing where there's a lot more cognitive involvement. A product life cycle is very small. So your phone, they're introducing a new phone every year, which means that you're not doing the same thing a lot. You're having to change, to constantly change. So it's the mindset that you have of being creative to work with different types of products and be able to change rapidly and come up with ideas and thoughts. So having that cognitive ability is key, but also that background that Dr. Dickerson was referring to is having that type of technical skill that's required, because there's going to be some type of programming that's involved. However, it's getting a little bit easier. Some of the companies that are introducing robotics, for example, think of a robotic arm as that you want to move something and then go down and pick something up. Well, they've got it where companies have come in and they can actually program it by just a person moving the arm themselves. Instead of having going into the software itself, they move the arm itself, and that creates a program which tells it what to do. And so a person doing that, next time the automatic alarm doesn't have to have that person guiding it. And so there's a lot of things that are available so you don't have to have that program background to do manufacturing, but still having that type of STEM background does help quite a bit when you're talking about automation, manufacturing, advanced manufacturing these days. So it's not the same routine thing over and over. It's a little bit more creative and a lot more fun.
So it sounded like what you talked about was you can actually use human interaction to create artificial intelligence in devices.
That's absolutely correct.
Awesome, thank you. At this time, I'd also like to thank Mr. Anthony Overton and Brandon Isla for being early listeners in the conversation. We talked to the students and the audience about there being a raffle at the end, and we asked, put your name in the chat with something interesting about you. And we saw them do that right away. So hopefully we're about 2/3 of the way through the presentation. And everyone should be fully awake now and fully engaged. So the other audience members, if you are interested in participating in the raffle, just put your name and something about you in the chat so that we can, at the end, have a very healthy raffle prize. Thank you, Ali, for that. I appreciate that. Can we get a few more on before we move on to our next one more comment? Excellent. Thank you very much. Keep the names coming. Mountain biking, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you very much. Excellent. Good job. Impressive. All right. So, Mr. Glass, now that we've got folks more involved and innovative and focusing, so they might be listening a little bit more intently to what you say next. So here we go. Again, the conversation is still around workforce development. People may not think of sales and engineering as the most common Venn diagram. Whoa, I'm not quite sure how that's supposed to work out as a question, but we'll work it through. Mr. Glass, as a lead sales engineer, what is the value of cross-training employees and how has it benefited on and you and your career?
Well, for me personally, I just want to address a lot of the high school students out there just from seeing what they're interested in and reading and drawing and some other things. When I graduated high school at 17, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I spent about a year working 3 different entry-level jobs before going to a junior college. So respect to Evergreen for putting together a really cool program. And then when I got into it, I figured accounting was a good path to go down because I like math, I like numbers, and I figured everybody has to make money. So that's where I started out my education. And then through that process, I realized I loved the sales aspect when I was working part-time jobs. So a lot of you in high school, even early entry-level positions, try to figure out maybe what you like about customer service or other things. If you like reading and if you like computers, it's not a bad idea to get interested in engineering as a path. So a lot of the amazing jobs that we have here are with our design engineers. We are an original equipment manufacturer, so we get to design our own products based on what our customers are looking for. So I'm a little bit envious of them at times. So I actually went back to school for engineering. So I'm still continuing my education, and it's never too late to choose a path that you go down. So it is really important to be knowledgeable in different areas. And for a lot of you that like reading and drawing, maybe just consider an engineering career or something along those lines, and maybe take up the Evergreen offer on having some really cool advanced manufacturing courses that they offer. So business and accounting are some really cool ones for me, at least. But being cross-trained on a lot of different things, it just makes you more valuable to the workforce. So for those in high school that are thinking, okay, I want to make money, there's always ways to make money. But if you can find something that you really love doing, then it makes every day more enjoyable. So that's just my advice to those listening today.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Mr. Glass. If we can take a second and just read some of the things that have been added to the chat. And any of the panelists can chime in on this briefly. Do you see, there's anything unique in the chat that you see that aligns with the industry of the advanced manufacturing or possibility of the future of education? I'll just put that question out to the panelists and just have one person respond. Dr. Dickerson.
Yes, so I want to read everything on the list that the students have, yes, falls in line with advanced manufacturing. The thing about advanced manufacturing is creativity. It's thinking beyond for the future. So whether you want to be a veterinarian, a reading language, right? Because even in veterinarian, the technology has advanced itself. There's no occupation that you're interested that technology hasn't advanced itself and need a product that is from manufacturing. So even you're a veterinarian, I saw a couple of, so everything that you said as a student that you want to do intertwines with what manufacturing is, so that your love and passion, as Mr. Glass had mentioned, that build that up. So when we say infusion of skill sets or training at cross training, we're talking about taking all those multiple things that you're interested, playing games, playing soccer, all those things that you're doing fits in advanced manufacturing because it takes you outside of your creativity and takes you towards the next level. So when we're talking about advanced manufacturing, it's the future of the world. So in my arena of developing a skills work set, and we're trying to develop for future jobs, not yesterday's jobs, because as you see, Flex and Anan are building for the future. So we can't skill you on yesterday's skill sets. We have to skill you on tomorrow's jobs because you are the future of the workforce. So everything that you listed that you may think is not intertwined in manufacturing, but it is. Everything is overlapped in manufacturing. Everything in your household, everything that is around you is based on manufacturing. So every field has some kind of technology that requires some kind of manufacturing. So I just want to say that everything that the students say that they're interested is definitely a pathway to manufacturing.
So if I could translate that a little bit, because I did see in there that we had a panelist who said that they like to eat, or they had a student in there who said that they like to eat. And I think I'll go to Casey on this one. So how is eating connected to advanced manufacturing?
Well, so it's pretty eating. So we actually have helped with some of the companies with refrigerators to come up with the panels on the outside so you can see what's inside your refrigerator without having to open the door, because to open the door, you could let out too much, coolant. And that's in part of our showroom that we have during our tour. By the way, the tour is not available except to special events, and the manufacturing day is a special event. So don't ask me for a tour afterwards. But yeah, that's one of the things that would apply to eating, which is pretty cool. And I probably am stealing about 30 seconds, but if IT can show, I got one on a game controller. I see a lot of people with a game controller. I want to show 30 seconds of that. Can IT pull up my the video on the game controller? If not, then we'll move on. Okay, it's okay. But we make, oh, there it is. So yeah, go to 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I just want to show, this is a product that we make. It's called the Steam Controller. And if you are a gamer, you've probably heard of the Steam Controller. It's one of the advanced controllers that we have. Yeah, so, okay, so Thank you. So it just kind of showcases some of the things that we do that affect all of your lives. I mean, we have so many products that are so involved with so much of what you guys do. The autonomous cars that are coming out, we're a big part of that. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much manufacturing is a part of things that are not existing yet, but will be soon. So yeah, kind of cool stuff going on.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciated all the feedback. And Mr. Glass, I have not forgotten about you. I promise you I'm going to throw something at you that you got to respond to rather quickly. But moving on to the next item here, we've got, here we go. You know what? I'm going to come to you right now, Mr. Glass. There was one in there from Ethan. He said that he liked to camp.
So, that's interesting because we do a lot with cross-functional teams here. So when I think about camping, you're camping with other people in general. But one of the things that you can do is you can go out hiking. I saw a lot of people commenting on they like mountain biking and other things like that. And then somebody even commented on creativity. Can you tell us more about creativity? So one of our design engineers, he got involved with engineering when he used to take apart and put together bikes with different components and things like that. So sometimes people go mountain biking on camping and whatnot, but it was just how he found his passion. So even though it might seem like something mundane, and then we had another person, when I talk about creativity, it's not just about if you like math or computer science. We have somebody here who makes a considerable amount of money with his job, and he loves his job. He's a tool designer, but he started with an apprenticeship at his dad's sheet metal shop. So you'll never know where you might find your passion. The thing is to just start doing something. And I have a lot of respect for all the students out there who go on and log on remotely. I've tried it a few days. We're blessed that we're able to come in. It's difficult. It's hard to feel connected when you're working remotely in a room where you might have other family members around and you don't feel like you have your own space. So a lot of respect to the students out there. And my recommendation to those who are out there camping, maybe you can find something interesting when you're camping that you're passionate about. Maybe you have certain products that you use when you're out camping, and maybe you can think about better ways to make those things. That's all I got for you.
No, hey, that's what it is. We're cross generations here. We've got folks that have done a lot of different things in their careers, and we're looking at building relationships with our next generation of leaders in this community and also globally, because we know that everything that we do impacts not only our local economy, but also the world that we live in, the things around us. Our final topic for today's panel discussion is reshoring. COVID-19 has spurred thoughtful discussion about disruptions in the domestic supply chain networks. So all of our students should be able to walk away with saying, I have an idea what supply chain is. Our domestic supply chain networks and regenerating interest in bringing back more advanced manufacturing operations to the US. More translation, more jobs, more opportunity, more money, more possibilities. Starting with Mr. McNeil, what is exactly reshoring and why are people talking about it so much nowadays?
I knew you were going to ask this question, so I got slides. So you weren't going to hit me up on the eating and technology. And so yeah, I got slides on this one. So reshoring, let's go next slide. So reshoring is a term that probably not many of you have heard of. In fact, it's not used. I was really surprised when it came up as a topic. But what it means is that bringing back manufacturing to the U.S. So when you talk about offshoring or outsourcing or sending manufacturing overseas, and go to the next slide. It's because of can you go? Yeah, about 50 years ago, U.S. had over a quarter of the world's global manufacturing, and I think it was even more after World War II. But as you can see, the list, China was number 7. And if you go to 2017, which is the latest information I have, next. Yeah. You see how China is now a large part of that. So even though the United States is still second, you look where we were 26.7 to now 16.7. So that means 10% of our manufacturing or that 10% of the global manufacturing is no longer done in the U.S., and which is much higher than most countries. We've lost more than most countries had. And so how do we bring that back, and why do we need to bring that back? Can you go to the next slide, please? Again, this talks about how things have changed. Even though the United States is still growing, we're not growing as fast as others, and we want to get back some of that market share. Next slide, please. So why do companies want to manufacture overseas? Well, it's simple. It's most of it comes down to one reason, and that's cost. There's other reasons, but the majority of it is that the United States is a high-cost area, especially here in Silicon Valley. And so why would you want to spend so much money building a product and making that too expensive for consumers to buy if you can make it a whole lot cheaper overseas? Now, there are reasons why you want to manufacture in the United States, and a lot of this has become very important right now, which is why companies want to reshore and why that's becoming a very important topic these days. On the bottom left, you see the COVID-19, and I put diversified production. Think about when COVID-19 hit, where it started. It was in one region, even though it was in China, which has a lot of manufacturing. It started in that region. Well, that affects a lot of things. Many products have a lot of different components, and those components are made all across the globe. Well, a lot of it was made in that area that was hit by COVID-19, which was completely shut down. And think about what that does to production. I've got a unit that I'm building that's got 4,000 components, and 2 of those components come from that area. I can't build my product now. And so what companies realize is that, hey, we need to diversify our production, not just have it in this area, but have it close to where we manufacturing things. And so that way, in case something happens to a part of the world, we're safe by having things close by. Another thing is the trade and tariff imports. So there was that tariff war that you guys heard about. There's been tariffs for a long time for many of the products. And those tariffs, are taxes that are imposed upon imports coming back. So if things are made, you got to pay for these tariffs. So not only the shipping costs involved, but also those tariffs. And then security and privacy. So in the United States, we have a lot of freedom, especially in our privacies. That may not be true in some of the other countries. And so companies like to have many things built, such as computer, government type of products built in the United States. That way they ensure that the software that's behind that technology has the security and privacy needed. Go to the next slide. So the question is, if we're going to reshore it, how do we lower the cost? Next slide, please. And one of the ways that we can lower costs is to actually reduce the number of people that are involved in the manufacturing process. So what you see on the left-hand side is an old manufacturing plant where you have a lot of people. On the right-hand side, you see one person in the photo and a lot of robots. And so the way you reduce costs is to introduce that automation. Now, some of you may be asking, and we'll go to the next slide, how does automation impact employment? Because if we have all these automation, do we really need manufacturing? Next slide, please. So kind of a thing about automation. So I'm going to talk to you, especially the students, about jobs you're not going to find anymore in case you really wanted them. One of those is carrying people around. So if you really wanted that job, doesn't exist because somebody created a wheel along the way. On the bottom right, you see where four people had to carry a person, and then someone invented the wheel, and now only one person had to carry a bunch of people. Kind of an old topic, but thought it was appropriate. Next slide, please. Well, there's other types of jobs that you can't find. Some of them, like, for example, the traffic officer who is in the middle of the street guiding traffic. I cannot see that working very well at Calaveras and Milpitas Boulevard these days. And so somebody created street lights, which helps improve the traffic. You don't have to have those traffic officers. Then you have the bowling alleys where people were bringing back the balls and resetting the pins themselves instead of the automation that's involved. On the top right, switchboards for phones, then you have newspaper deliveries, lighting of the street lights at night, delivering groceries. So straight from the farm to the house. So a lot of that doesn't exist, and if you're looking for one of these jobs, you're not going to find it. Next slide, please. It's because what happens is that automation does not decrease jobs. Actually, automation is quite the opposite. Automation increases jobs. Right before COVID, we were at one of the lowest unemployment rates in all time, plus we were the most automated at any time. And so automation generally increases jobs. What happens is, next slide please, is that you're decreasing roles within the job. So what happens is the person who is doing the same thing over and over, putting those screws onto a place on the board, or putting glue at a certain spot and doing that all day long, those are the type of roles that are being really replaced by automation. And as you can see in this chart, the routine jobs, the ones in the red on the left-hand side, those are the ones that are right for automation. The non-routine jobs, the cognitive and the manual, are the ones that really we need people to work in and need to have those skill sets. And so, like I said, the time to market for different products are so short. So it becomes more non-routine than anything. And so anyway, on the right-hand side was something a little bit of fun. So if you're looking to be a loan officer, maybe not a good idea. If anybody out there is a loan officer, I'm sorry, I didn't create the chart. But there's some ideas of what type of roles may be ripe for automation, and at the bottom you can see things that are not. And so for those teachers out there, keep up the good work here. You guys can't be replaced, even though probably some of your students may want that. Anyway, so some of the ideas of where automation can play into effect, and reshoring, automating, and how we do that is all hand in hand. So that's my little pitch. Thank you. I think your last slide. Yeah.
Mr. McNeil, excuse me, Ms. McNeil, thank you for setting the table and giving us an understanding of reshoring in the U.S. And now I'm going to turn to our other panelists on this particular topic. Mr. Glass, COVID-19 has made lean teams even leaner. Will reshoring garner any increased protections against layoffs?
Well, I have to say that was a great presentation in terms of the PowerPoint slides that he shared, because we've been impacted hugely by tariffs for the last couple of years. Went from 8% to...
I'm sorry, I want to interject for a section. Can you explain what a tariff is to our audience?
You know what, this is good because I was never really involved with politics when I was in high school, or had any idea about taxes and duties and things like that other than sales tax. So what it is basically when goods are shipped over from a foreign country, the Trump administration, for those who are, it's right around voting season, they've been going back and forth with China in terms of what kind of taxes and duties they would apply on that to encourage people to produce here in the United States. And really what it's resulted in is it's a huge impact on our bottom line. So we've been looking internally for quite some time, even foreign trade zone, things to really mitigate that cost. So we've done a ton of our work always out of Milpitas, so much so that we've had such great success in the medical device field that we were actually acquired by Amphenol, which is an $8 billion company, in the past couple months. So now it's really just keeping costs down through automation. And our team hasn't gotten any leaner. We've actually hired people as our automation has increased, whether it's automatic cable stripping, automatic pin loading. We've actually had to hire on more team members because it's only made our demand for those products grow as we're able to improve our costs. So I have to agree completely with Casey that as we've added automation, we've actually had to hire on more people to really kind of keep up with the demand, because it's had our costs go down. We haven't had to reshore, but it's a constant evolution of adding in more automation to really keep our costs minimal and give the best price to our customers for those devices.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that information, Mr. Glass, and congratulations on the acquisition. We know the acquisition comes challenges, but it also comes opportunity depending on who's at the helm of the organizations. And it seems now with advanced manufacturing, with all the new opportunities coming back up in the slide, one of the slides that Casey shared, that we've lost 10% of the advanced manufacturing, and it has had an impact on some health and safety in our community as it relates to COVID-19. And I can tell you America is very competitive and self-conscious in terms of its reliance on other partners when it comes to certain things. So it looks like there will be some future opportunities for our students to consider and our educators to consider as they design their new curriculum or move forward in the years to come. Shifting to Dr. Dickerson, if reshoring manufacturing jobs become a reality in the near future, how will that impact your work in workforce development?
Yes, great question. And it follows through one of the questions here on the chat where asked, how do we train folks for these upskilled jobs? So in our workforce development field, we had to find opportunities to make sure that we retrain and upskill population that have either been unemployed or displaced by manufacturing so they can fulfill the new technology skills that is needed by Anan and Flex. So what education now is the arm to, we always have been a conduit to economic development, especially during recessions and rebuilding. So community colleges are key factors in doing that. So one, we have been giving the mandate to make sure that community colleges provide short-term certificate retraining pathways to make sure that that's applicable, to make sure that our industry partners have that labor market workforce that they need. So even though there's jobs that are leaving because of automation, there's new jobs that are being created. So in our Evergreen Valley College and our sister school too, we make sure we work with industry to say, okay, Bill Glass, what is the skill set that you're going to need now that we can retrain somebody who just left the hospitality industry? They know how to do X, Y, and Z. Like, they know how the electronics works for that industry. Can we how upskill or retool or retrain that knowledge that they have? How is that transferable to now that is in this industry that you're doing for the manufacturing for healthcare? Or maybe we do a partner with a manufacturer that is building industry stuff for hospitals or kitchens or hotels. So that's really where education has to. For example, we are doing more short-term certificates to retrain, reskill people. We have non-credit courses, which is for anybody who wants to do it for upskill themselves for free. And we do offer that in our Milpitas extension sites. We have a great partnership with our Milpitas Adult School to do those non-credit courses. And there are also for not-for-credit courses that, like for our workshops, when our industry partner says we need somebody now, like to hire by next month or in the next 2 months, we will create a not-for-credit course workshop to upskill those who want to take that opportunity. So we make sure that the numbers of those who are unemployed get an opportunity to be in the first run in for these jobs that Flex has or Anan has. So that's what we're doing as an arm of the economic mobility and economic supply chain to our industry partners. I hope it answers that question, because somebody had asked, how do we get the opportunity to retrain and reskill? Please look for our announcements. Please go to community college websites. And when in short, check out our counseling office, our admissions office. We will always be there for our community to make sure that we help with reskill and retooling our unemployed, our displaced employed, and as well for high school students to train for the next generation. So those are our 3 factors that we focus on in education, in our workforce development, Dean.
Thank you. And thank you to all the panelists. I'd like to say again, as a trustee of the Milpitas Unified School District, we are more than a K-12 school district. We also have adult education in our partnership with Evergreen San Jose Community College to give us a wide variety of access to a number of learners. In addition, we serve more than 10,000 students, and all of those students have caregivers or parents. And there's always an interest for many of them to retool. We also have the director of the Economic Development Commission or Economic Development Group for the city of Milpitas, who can definitely at some point talk about the statistics and the vision of the economic development and strategy plan that in terms of increasing the number of local employees in our local companies. And there's going to be discussion on that in the future. But again, I want to thank all of our panelists for providing the insight, being able to answer some of these questions on the fly, being interactive with the chat, and the videos that you provided to make this a very, very interesting hour and 10 minutes or so. The next part of this we're going to transition into, and I've got to do a little bit more housekeeping. I'm already in a little bit of trouble because folks have kind of started using the chat, answering questions or putting questions in the chat versus raising their hands. And I got a text on one of these devices with all the little tools in it saying, hey, folks are supposed to raise their hand, not just automatically communicate in the chat. So, and I want to come back and possibly do this again next year. So those of you who are in the audience, as we move into the Q&A section, here's the thing. You have to raise your hand with a question. Nicole is going to respond to that. We have a very large audience, so do not feel like you're going to be left out if she doesn't get to you fast enough. And we're just going to keep it moving from there. Nicole, could you wave your hand again one more time? Again.
Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Again, thank you very much, panelists. I had a great time with you. I look forward to continue to work with you for many years to come and the city of Milpitas.
Thank you.
Thank you. So moving on to the Q&A, I see one hand raised and it's from Andrea Hutchinson, although I realize that I think many folks signed up for the event under Andrea's name. So if whoever raised their hand can introduce themselves and you have a minute to speak.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jordan McRae. I'm in the Milpitas High School as a junior. And I have a couple questions for Casey McNeil and Billy Glass. So to begin, Casey McNeil, how does motivating and inspiring future generations in the United States to join others in advanced manufacturing reach the objective of creating a technologically advanced world with more opportunities, jobs, and financial gain? And for Billy Glass, because in Casey McNeil's presentation, it seems dual sourcing has its challenges, especially with COVID-19, with tariffs on imports and lack of on-time delivery with quality raw material. How sustainable is sourcing from the United States, and why has the city of Milpitas' manufacturing companies begin to focus sourcing in the United States with such high demand on resources in a situation where min-maxing is invaluable to sustain company integrity?
All right, I think I will answer your first portion. The interest in manufacturing is really fairly easy because with all the technology and the new innovation that's available these days, it inspires a lot of people to come up with ideas. Currently, the number of startups that are out there in the world, we've got more than ever. And so people have those ideas and that inspiration to come up with different types of machines. What they don't have is a way to produce that. And so companies like, for example, On and Flex, we help those type of companies come up with those ideas that they sketch up on a drawing board and develop them into the real world product. And so people want to make a difference. They want to make change in the world and create new types of products that will help really everyone. And so the inspiration is out there. It doesn't really necessarily have to come from Flex, but Flex offers those ways to take those ideas and turn it into reality. And so that's how we're helping to inspire people to get more into advanced manufacturing and that now from a education and having as a career standpoint, we're hoping events such as this really inspire people and get people that understand what's involved with it. And so we're trying to do the best we can to motivate people to get into that STEM type of background, but really, the inspiration's out there for a lot of people. If you have an idea, don't stop with it. Come up with an idea, go on with it and develop it, because the There is no risk. I mean, yes, you may lose some money, you may lose some time, but a lot of times that risk is well worth it. We see it time and time again.
And just in response to the second question, there's so much amazing technology in the Bay Area that a lot of the advanced manufacturing in the Bay Area allows us to dual source, especially with printed circuit boards and other electronic components that go into a lot of our medical devices and our connectors. So it really comes down to a fiscal responsibility thing on our end, because pretty much every business, including nonprofits, need to make a profit of some sort in order to continue on. So what we'll do when it comes to dual sourcing is really look for long-term sustainable relationships with our suppliers. And a lot of our suppliers are here in the Bay Area for a lot of the things that go into our intelligent medical devices. So we're really blessed to be in the area that we're in, not only in Milpitas because of the great, obviously, relationship with the school district and the city of Milpitas, but being close to the Bay Area and printed circuit boards and other things that go into our intelligent medical devices really makes the dual sourcing strategy a bit easier than I think it would be in other portions of the United States. So it hasn't been too much of a challenge in that regard. It's just all about being fiscally responsible so we can remain profitable.
Thank you, Jordan. Really thoughtful question there. Moving on to Jennifer Garcia.
Hi there. I had a question for actually all the panelists. I wanted to know what the city representatives, as well as the people that have the companies or that are from the companies that are talking today, are doing to provide maybe week-long job shadows or internships for the students at the high schools. You know that we have so many companies in our area. I just wanted to know what you're doing to provide opportunities for our students and not just those that are STEM oriented.
I can be, for the education side, we do a lot of internships, apprenticeships, depending on what program they enter. So, you know, we have specific industry partners and memorandum of understanding for internships and job shadowing or volunteerism that gets them the experience. So it depends on which program they're in. So we do have different, like for example, that are not STEM focused. Translation interpreting in Spanish is another. So we're at Evergreen Valley College, we really focus on high demand, high wage occupations based on the industry needs. So we make an MOU with our industry partners to make sure that they provide the internship and the job shadowing or volunteerism so the students can get that experience. So for a non-STEM or advanced manufacturing, our translation and interpreting program has MOUs with the Santa Clara County School District, the core immigration office, so they can practice their T&I translation for Spanish. So a lot of times our education arm makes sure there is an agreement to make sure that opportunity is provided. So for the high school student, if they're what we did with partnering with Milpitas and this Milpitas Economic Center is that Flex Factor program. So they can visit sites like Flex Enon and get industry panel discussions and internship opportunities when they finish certain parameters of the course or the workshop, so they can be prepared and ready. We would not like to have a student who just put in an internship, a job shadowing, and not understand the expectations of what it is expected of a job shadowing or internships. Because we make that partnership with our industry partner, because our industry partner has an expectation of what an internship and a job shadowing looks like. And then our students and our high school partners have an expectation too. We become the conduit or bridge to make sure that both expectations are understood and are clearly defined. In the past, instead of just putting a student on an internship or job shadowing or apprenticeship, we really want to make sure those clear expectations are done. So we created an MOU with our industry partners. And then we also make sure that students attend a couple of workshops, soft skill workshops, soft skill, some trainings about what's the expectations of doing it, even if it's just a job shadowing or even if it's just a volunteering. It's just an expectation that you should treat it like it's a potential job and not just that you're going to be there for 1 day or 2 days or just 2 months. So that's where we have made sure that our industry partners still keep internships and that they just don't fall off. And then that's also how we make sure that our students are committed to the internships and they're just not falling off. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, but that's more on the college side other than the
Mhm.
flex factor. I'm talking about more for the high school students, because what's happening is there's so many high school students that they don't know exactly what they want to do. And when going in community college, they don't know what route to take because they've never seen some of the jobs out there or experienced them or been able to job shadow anybody to be able to know where they need to go. So I was just curious, what some of the city people are doing to, build some of those programs with all of these industries that we have around us. And because I don't know who specifically they go through, but they should definitely go through the College and Career Center so that we can provide those to all of the students and not just a specific group of students.
And I'd like to quickly interject on that question. Jennifer, this is Chris Norwood. We recently, with the support of the city of Milpitas, we recently announced, and you're aware of this briefly, the MAP, the MUSD Alliance for Future Ready Partners. And as we continue to evolve that program with the support of the high school leadership, Cal Hills, and Adult Ed, we do see the internships and making sure that all of those possibilities flow in a conducive way, that we're not just targeting certain types of students, that we'll be able to provide that opportunity to all students so that they can consider these careers and other ones. So thank you for that question. And we'll continue to have that conversation. I also believe that Principal Francis Rojas is here as well. So as well as Andrea Hutchinson. So everyone heard that, and we'll be able to work through to make sure that we have something comprehensive moving forward. Back to you, Nicole.
So we are kind of short of time, so I would like to end with Nicholas's question, and if I can ask the panelists to be brief in their responses, please. Nicholas, go ahead.
Hello, my question is for Mr. McNeil. My question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of working at a manufacturing and design outsourcing company like Flex as opposed to a traditional tech company where manufacturing and design is in-house?
Great question. So there's advantages on both sides. So when you work for companies such as Flex, you see, I call it, the tour that we give is probably one of the best we have in Silicon Valley, because you see all types of different products from all different companies and all different types of places. So we see a lot here that other companies will never see. If you're working maybe for a company that makes a smartphone, then you will be really good at your product and you will have a lot more support. So a lot of times it's a little bit easier on that product side, and there's a lot of opportunities from them, but your product cycle is a little bit shorter. You're helping to more of the development side if you're working for, I'll throw out a name, Apple, and you're developing those type of products in-house. And so you're getting a little bit more creativity of building it. Whereas when it comes to us, we can help with some of that design, and we do with many companies, but that's more on the customer, what we call our customer area. So there are benefits for both of them. Here, again, you see so much. There's a lot of diversification. It's never the same thing over and over, whereas you may get stuck on a product, maybe one of the customers. But again, you have a lot more freedom on the design phase and building those really cool products that we don't get to experience. So it goes both ways. And we've had employees go to those companies and enjoy it, and they come back and they say, "Oh, I didn't like this," or we've had people go there and say, "Man, this is the greatest thing. I wish I had done this a long time ago." So there's no wrong answer to either one of those questions. It's just a matter of what you prefer, the diversification or the power to do things.
Awesome. Thank you. For the instructors from Milpitas Unified School District that have brought your students, do us this favor. Please get your questions from your students that we didn't get a chance to answer. Because as Jennifer mentioned earlier, we want to build these relationships. And I'm sure everyone on the panel and the city wants to get these questions answered because it shows that our students are engaged. So what we need for you to do is to collect your questions from your students, and you can either deliver them You know, I'm going to be creative here. We're going to deliver those to Alex. We'll get the questions to Alex, and then we'll work collaboratively to get those answered, have the panelists look at them, and then begin to map out this plan of how we continue to build this relationship. Ultimately, these advanced manufacturing days are about seeing MUSD students one day employed at these companies or in school searching out their careers, but then also our adults from the city that are part of this presentation to consider retooling for the upcoming boom in the advanced manufacturing industry that we definitely do see pending. And with that, we're going to transition over to Nicole to take over the, at this point, the raffle.
Yes. So just to button that up, if we haven't had a chance to answer your question just now, I left Alex Andrade's email over in the chat box. So feel free to send us your questions and we'll make sure to get back to you. All right, raffle time. So we've got Golfland Ta Restaurant, which is a Vietnamese cuisine restaurant, and Black Cat Comics, all located in Milpitas. I'm going to share my screen to see, so you can see what I'm doing here. So here are all of the folks who opted in
Nicole,
to the raffle. Yes.
Did you add two $20 Jamba Juice gift cards into the raffle? It was great participation from the audience, and I'm going to contribute those personally.
Love it. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, so now our
Hi,
three
Nicole.
prizes
This
are
is Nicole. This is Commissioner Juliet. Yes, I am going to. I'm going to put one out there. Let's put in two $25 gift certificates to Giorgio's.
Giorgio's?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. This is a pleasant surprise. So we've got a total of 7 prizes now, and you are still seeing my screen. I am going to copy.
Nicole?
Oh.
So this
yes?
is the Vice Mayor. I at least would like to match for the city both of those. The 2 for Jamba Juice and the 2 for Giorgio's.
Woohoo!
Would you like to do the same, or would you like to add in more?
Please. Well, I can
Okay.
add in more. So 25 for both Jamba Juice and 25, the 2 for 25 at Giorgio's.
Amazing. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. All right.
More names in
we'll
the
have
chat
a lot of
now.
winners.
There are a few more names in the
Okay.
chat.
A few more names in the chat. I'm
Community
gonna
spirit.
stop, please. Okay.
And there's another donation. Another prize.
Okay. So after these names, the opt-in period will be closed. So I'm going to end with Ariz Iqbal. So they will be the last entry. Give me just one moment here while I round out the spreadsheet.
And you do see the 20 for Pete's, right?
I don't see the 20 for Pete's. Now I do. Great, thank you. Okay. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, share my screen again. You are seeing all of the attendees who shared their information with us. I have 56 entries. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to share with you the platform we are using to select our winners. It is called random.org. You should be seeing that here now. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total raffle prizes. And so I'm going to read them out in the order that I have them listed. The top 10 top 10 folks who show up here will go home with prizes today. And I'm going to click on randomize. There you go. Sorry, I know your last name is Who Likes Xbox. It's just that you didn't provide a last name, so I filled it in with your hobby. So, can you see my screen?
So yes, we can see your screen.
I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There you go. So, Karen, Who Likes Xbox, you are the winner of a $20 gift card to Golfland. I'd like to ask anyone who received the prize today to leave their email in the chat box. Leave your email in the chat box so we can connect with you to get you your prize. Okay, a $20 gift card to Ta Vietnamese restaurant goes to Shruti Ramesh Kumar. $20 Black Cat Comics goes to Ashley Magana. $20 gift card to Jamba Juice goes to Serena South. $20 gift card to Jamba Juice again goes to Van Nguyen. $25 gift card to Giorgio's goes to Brandon Isla. Another $25 gift card to Giorgio's goes to Matthew Blanco. Another $25 Jamba Juice gift card goes to Anna Alexeyev. And another $25 Jamba Juice gift card to Emerald Juarez. And our last prize for a $20 gift card to Pete's Coffee goes to Jazz Soccer. Oh, Jazz, who likes to play soccer. So congratulations to everybody. This was wonderful. Thank you so much to the last minute show and generosity. That is very kind of you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. For those of you, for the 10 of you I called, please leave your email again in the chat box so that you get your prize. Perfect. I see you're already doing that. Thank you. And I'm going to hand it over to Director of our Office of Economic Development, Alex Andrade, for closing words.
Thank you, Nicole. Wow, so who's inspired this morning? That would be me. That was really great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Andrade. I'm the Director of Economic Development. If you were to ask me why this event is important, I would remind everybody that manufacturing is alive and well in Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley brand is known throughout the world. The genesis to that brand is that the best and brightest people in the region have researched, designed, prototyped, and produced the technology that is really changing the way we live on a daily basis. I like to say we're the greatest overnight success, 60 years in the making. From a local perspective, though, I'll remind you that close to a third of our Milpitas local jobs are in technology and manufacturing. And you've heard our city manager, Steve McHarris, indicate early on that we have over 160 businesses involved in technology and advanced manufacturing. And I'm actually happy to report that the number is actually increasing even during the pandemic, with national and international firms making a commitment to investing in Milpitas manufacturing. And you just heard from one of our panelists, Billy Glass, that investment in acquisition is happening. As our city manager, Steve McHarris, and our moderator, Chris Norwood, stated, the goal for today's Manufacturing Day 2020 is to inform, inspire, and increase awareness about technology and advanced manufacturing in Milpitas. And I'm really pleased to say that we've accomplished that, and definitely a lot more. I'm incredibly proud of our city council. They're here, they're listening, they're watching, and that's because they care about the local business community. They're intimately aware of what the local business community is experiencing during the COVID-19 impacts, and they're investing their time right now so that they can learn and bring policies and strategies to the city so that we can ensure to have a robust and vibrant economy. Special thanks to our city manager, Steve McHarris, for providing opening remarks, and Chris Norwood for being our moderator. Special thanks to Billy Glass of On and On, Dr. Dickerson of Evergreen Valley College, and Casey McNeil of Flex as our allotted panelist. Thank you to our partners, including Milpitas Unified School District. Thank you, Superintendent Cheryl Jordan. Thank you to the Bay Area Urban Manufacturing and the Milpitas Chamber of Commerce for assisting with marketing. Congratulations to the raffle winners. For the record, the raffle items were privately donated. And wow, what great generosity that we just witnessed. It makes me think about the word unity within the larger word community. And we just witnessed that. So thank you for those that were so generous in adding to the raffle. And of course, without the audience, this would not have been possible. Thank you to the hundreds of attendees, We hope that you've been inspired and moved by what you've learned today about technology and advanced manufacturing. And this is all happening in our own backyard. Last but certainly not least, special thanks to the Economic Development Team, the City Manager's Office, and IT for making this event happen. It is truly a cross-departmental effort. And as you can imagine, a significant amount of time goes into developing this type of a program. I'm a strong believer in a healthy economy translating to a healthy community. And that's really what's happening here in Milpitas. Once again, thank you for joining us for Manufacturing Day 2020. The fourth industrial revolution is here, and it's being led by artificial intelligence, machine learning, the Internet of Things, and other emerging technologies. Our local businesses and local and regional schools are here and ready to ensure that you're part of this exciting technology and advanced manufacturing world. Lastly, remember, Milpitas, that's the place where smarts meet parts. Thank you all, be safe, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.